So far in this chapter, first chapter, we have completed a few topics here. First one is Dhritarashtra's inquiry to Sanjaya to see what is happening in the battlefield. And from Shlokas 2 to 11, uh, Duryodhana goes to Dronacharya and describes what is happening in the field and is comparing his army with Pandava's army out of fear. And after that, we saw from shlokas 12 to 19, there were blowing of conch shells by Bhishma on the Kaurava side, and from uh, Krishna, Arjuna, and other Pandavas on the Pandava side. And we also saw some signs of victory of the Pandavas in terms of, you know, Hanuman is on the flag of Arjuna, and Madhava, that is Krishna, is acting as a charioteer for Arjuna. And those are some of the signs that we saw on the victory of Pandavas. And now we started last week about Arjuna observing the army. So far, Duryodhana observed the army. Now Arjuna started observing the army to see who is supporting Duryodhana. We'll start from here. Um, so we started from here. Arjuna was first asking um, Krishna to park the chariot between the two armies. He wants to see who has come there to fight. We also see what does it mean by Achyuta. Achyuta, here it refers to Krishna. He who never fails in his affection for his devotees and thus is addressed as infallible. Here we see when Krishna finds that a pure devotee is ordering him, he obtains the transcendental pleasure, although he is infallible master in all circumstances. So Krishna is very happy, to serve his pure devotees. Though Krishna is is the supreme Lord, but is very happy, to serve his devotees, pure devotees. And we saw the transcendental relationship between the Lord and the servitor is very sweet and transcendental. If you look at the history of the devotees, there are many instances where there is a sweet exchange between Krishna and his devotees, that you can see it in all the Puranas, as well as in the previous acharyas lifetime, as well as in pure devotees. Now we'll start with this shloka. I think we left off with this shloka here, where Arjuna is saying to Krishna, "Let me see those who have come here to fight, wishing to please the evil-minded son of Dhritarashtra." So he mentions the evil-minded son of Dhritarashtra because the evil-minded son is Duryodhana. Duryodhana gave a lot of trouble to Pandavas from their childhood. He tried to kill Bhima. He tried to lit the fire of their wax house, and he insulted Draupadi in the Rajya Sabha, and he cheated them on gambling, and he got all their possessions and everything. So he was so evil-minded. That's the reason Arjuna is mentioning here. Let me see those who have come here to fight, wishing to please the evil-minded son of Dhritarashtra. Now, who are those evil-minded people who is supporting this evil-minded Duryodhana? The other reason is he also wants to understand the strength of the opposite army. So that's the reason he wants to take a look at what is happening on the other side. Okay. Now we will. So I think we also read this one. Since Sanjaya said, having thus been addressed by Arjuna, Lord Krishna drew up the chariot in the midst of the armies of both the parties. So once Arjuna has ordered Krishna, Krishna drew the chariot and parked in between the two armies. We saw last time what does it mean by Gudakesha. Gudakesha means one who does not sleep. And Rishikesha is addressed to Krishna. Rishikesha. That means the controller of the senses and mind. The controller of the senses and mind is Krishna, but he is being controlled by his devotee Arjuna. So that is the reason here he is being addressed as Rishikesha. And the other thing is Krishna as a Paramatma sitting in everyone's heart. In fact, there is a description about uh, you know Krishna sitting in our heart as well as we as a soul, um, in the Shastras. So Krishna also understands what is happening in our mind. He clearly follows what we speak, what we see, and what we think and what we act. So that's the reason is called as Rishikesha. The more we surrender to Krishna, the more devotional service we perform to Krishna, Krishna start starts to controlling our senses and mind. That is the reason if you see that the acharyas, and great exalted devotees, pure devotees, they in general don't make mistakes. The pure people and the pure devotees, because Krishna actually takes control of their senses and mind. So they always act in favor for Krishna. So here, Gudakesha here it refers to Arjuna. Guda means sleep, and Isha means Lord. So here it says the Lord of the one who has taken control over the sleep. Here it refers to Arjuna. So Arjuna conquered both sleep and ignorance. Here, sleep is also called as ignorance. Um, you know, there are three modes of material nature. It varies from people to people and species to species. The number one mode is mode of sattva, that is mode of goodness, and number two mode of passion, that is rajoguna, and number three is tamoguna, that is mode of ignorance. So people in general who are in ignorance, they sleep more. Here, Arjuna is called as, Gudakesha. He has conquered the sleep and ignorance. And that's the reason, in a day is also divided into three parts. The early morning is the mode of goodness or sattva mode of sattva guna. And during the time that we work, right, it's a passion time where we work and earn money. That is called as rajoguna time. And in the night we sleep, right? So that is a mode of ignorant. That's the reason, very successful people, a lot of time we see that they do a lot of activities during the sattva guna time. They put the foundation during the early morning, be it material or spiritual, but it is more, it is very good if you do spiritual activities during the Brahma Muhurta or early morning. That's the reason, right? In many cases, many devotees, they get up very early in the morning and they do Mangalarti and they do japa, chanting and everything. They do it, complete it in the early morning. And then they come back, they come to work and then work, and in the night they sleep. But even in case of very successful people, and even in the material side, they get up early in the morning and they plan their work, because in that period of time, will be in the mode of goodness and our thought process will be more clear. And the other reason here it is given, either in waking or sleep, a devotee of the Lord can never be free from thinking of Krishna's name, form, qualities, or pastimes, right? Krishna's nama, guna, rupa, and leela, right? Devotees always think about these pastimes. Even in case of, in the ISKCON founder Acharya, Srila Prabhupada, he rarely sleeps. His assistant, one personal assistant said, when I go to sleep, I see Prabhupada writing, translating the books. And when I wake up, I see Prabhupada still writing and translating the books. As that is more right. So he's always in the Sattva Guna, and he rarely sleeps, because he's always, in the Krishna conscious mode. He wants to serve Krishna. He wants to spread the Krishna consciousness. And even we see a lot of acharyas, right? They sleep very little. Um, yeah, well, even I see some devotees, who sleep very little and they spend more time on serving Krishna, or doing the work for Krishna. That is in Sri Sampradaya. in Sri Rangam, there is one devotee of Lord Ramanujacharya is called as Uranga Villidas. He does not sleep. His original name was Dhanurdas. He is always interested in learning. He will attend every session, every discourse of Ramanujacharya as well as Ramanujacharya's disciples. He has such interest in learning our shastras, in learning about the Lord. Um, uh, it is said, but the reality was different. Previously, before he became a disciple of Ramanujacharya, there's a little story I just to um, bring some context here. We will also understand the Bhagavatas, right? It's always refreshing when we understand what the Bhagavata did, the few devotee did. So Rangavali Das, he was previously called as Dhanur Das. He was a wrestler, and he worked as a soldier, wrestler in the army. And one time he got married to a very beautiful girl, and he loved her so much so that he always in the hot sun he always carry umbrella to her, and he used to carry a mobile carpet. Wherever she walks in the Kaveri shore, he used to put the mat underneath. Then she walks. And a lot of people made fun of her. And one time it happened that Ramanujacharya was going there near the shore walking, and he suddenly saw some people were talking different things. And then he asked, what is happening? Then they mentioned about Dhanurdas and his love towards his wife, showing off in front of everyone. Then Ramanujacharya wants to correct him, wants to make him understand the life. So he asked, his servant to call him. So Dhanudas came, and Ramanujacharya said, "It looks like you love your wife more." And Dhanudas said, "Yes, yes, sir. I love my wife more." And Ramanujacharya said, um, "Don't you feel, a little uncomfortable that you do this kind of thing in the public?" He said, "Yes, sir, but I don't care because I like, I love my wife like anything, so I want to serve her. Be it public or non-public, it doesn't matter." Um, and then Ramanuja thought that he has such an affection towards his wife. If he directs his love towards, Narayana or Ranganatha, that would be great for him, in the future. Then he said, what is it in your wife that you like her the most? And Danuda said, "I like my wife's eyes. It is the most beautiful eyes I've ever seen. I just want to make sure the hot sun does not affect her eyes and the hot sun does not affect her feet." And then Ramanujacharya said, "If I show you eyes 100 times, 1,000 times, million times beautiful than her eyes, will you change your love?" Danta said, "Of course, yes." Then Ramanujacharya took him inside the temple, and then he said, "This is the Lord of the universe. This is the Supreme Lord." And then he requested Lord Sri Ranganatha, "Hey Lord, please show your beautiful eye this innocent or ignorant person so that he understand what is real beautiful." To everyone's surprise, Lord Ranganatha opened his lotus eyes and showed them to Dhanurdas. And Dhanurdas, on seeing the beautiful eyes, he was stunned, he was astonished. He was standing there, and Ramanuja went out. And then after a few hours, Ramanujacharya came, and he was still looking at the eyes of Sri Ranganatha. And then Ramanujacharya tapped him. Then he woke up and then said, "I saw the most beautiful eyes in the world. Please accept me as your disciple." And from that day onwards, Auranga Vilidas, he has become Auranga Vilidas, and he has become a devotee of, or sorry, disciple of Ramanujacharya, and he's become a devotee of Sri Ranganatha. And then he started listening to lectures. He does not normally sleep because his consciousness is always on, changed from the material world to Sri Ranganatha. Just a small story I just want to highlight. Since we talked about not sleeping, right? Gudakesh. Now let me move on to I think we read this sloka as well. Now, Krishna stopped the chariot in between the two armies and he said, just behold, Partha, all the Kurus assembled here. So Krishna strategically said, what he did was there were millions of people in both the sides. He strategically parked the chariot just in front of Drona and Bhishma and then said, see all the Kurus. Right? Kurus here refers to the descendants of Kuru dynasty. Right here, both Pandavas and Kauravas are called as Kurus. Had he said, see all the sons of Dhritarashtra, Arjuna would have, you know, reacted differently. But when when Krishna said, see all the Kurus, that means see all the Kauravas and see all the Pandavas, Pandava army and Kaurava army, all the Kurus. That means he has kindled a family attachment to him. Because Krishna wants to create a sort of illusion in Arjuna so that Arjuna will become act like an ordinary person and that Krishna can deliver Bhagavad Gita. So Krishna sometimes does these type of things just for the greater cause. Um, he did the same thing. If you see in the Srimad Bhagavatam, it was between a discussion between Sukadev Goswami and Parishit Maharaj. Parishit Maharaj was the grandson of Arjuna. He was a great devotee of Krishna. He used to play with the toys of Krishna, dolls of Krishna and everything. But Krishna has momentarily put him an illusion so that he has become thirsty and he was under fatigue. And then he did some aparadha towards a sage. And then the sage cursed him. The son cursed him that Parikshit will live only for 7 days. And then Parikshit, saw Sukadev Goswami sage. And then hey, Goswami sir, please tell me what should I do in these 7 days. And then Sukadev Goswami started reciting the Srimad Bhagavatam that is about the Lord and his devotees and their interaction and activities. And then we all got Srimad Bhagavatam. Krishna, before disappearing or before going to Vaikuntha, said that I'm residing in Srimad Bhagavatam. Whoever recites Srimad Bhagavatam, they are associating with him directly. So that is another instance where Krishna put a little bit of illusion so that he can deliver something to the humanity. Here he is delivering Bhagavad Gita, there he delivered Srimad Bhagavatam. Uh, right. So that is on this sloka. This is just a small trivia. So why is it called Bhagavad Gita, although others spoke also? So in the 700 verse, Krishna spoke 574 verse, and Arjuna spoke 84, Sanjaya 41, and Dhritarashtra 1 shloka. But still it is called as Bhagavad Gita because Krishna is the main person here. Sometimes we have a conference, we invite some dignity. So it is a conference of the dignity. There will be some people who will be arranging it. There will be some people who is asking, but the conference is mainly about the person who is speaking there. So that's the reason it is called as Bhagavad Gita. Gita means song. It's a song of the God. Bhagavat here means God. As a as a super soul of all living entities, Lord Krishna could understand what was going on in the mind of Arjuna. So he immediately understood what is going on in the mind of Arjuna. Let's go to the next shloka. So this is a new shloka. If there is any volunteer to recite after me? Okay.
I can do it.
Please go ahead. I will recite. Please recite after me. Tatra pashyat sthitan patah
तत्रापश्यत् स्थितान् पार्थः
Pradeep, so you go ahead, Pradeep. You complete this.
तत्रापश्यत् स्थितान् पार्थः पितॄन्नत पितामहान् आचार्यान् मातुलान् भ्रातॄन् पुत्रान् पौत्रान् सखींस्तथा श्वशुरान् सुहृदश्चैव सेनयोरुभयोरपि.
Okay. Anyone wants to read the translation?
I can read.
Please.
Dear Arjuna could see within the midst of the armies of both parties his fathers, grandfathers, teachers, maternal uncles, brothers, sons, grandsons, friends, and also his father in law and well wishers.
Right. So here, Krishna saw on both the sides, right? On the opposite side, he saw a lot of people. Let me go to the next slide, which captures everything. Pitrun means fathers. Now, Bhurishwara is one of fatherly like person for Arjuna. Pitamahan means grandfathers. Here, Bhishma, we know, and Somadatta is another grandfather for him. Acharyan means teacher. Dronacharya, Kripacharya. Matulan means maternal uncles. Here, Shalya. Shalya is the um, uh, brother of one of, I think, Dhritarashtra's wife's brother, I believe. And then Bhratrun means brothers, Duryodhana, Vikarna, others. Putran means sons. Lakshmana Kumara. Lakshmana is the son of Duryodhana, who is helping, Kaurava's army. And grandsons, the sons of Lakshmana, that is grandson of Duryodhana. And friends, Ashwatthama. And the father-in-laws like Drupada. Drupada is the father of Draupadi. And well-wishers like Kritavarma. And here it mainly applies to Krishna. So there are a lot of people. See, one beautiful thing here is that though Duryodhana, the Pandavas and Kauravas, Pandavas do not have hatred towards Kauravas, but Duryodhana had a lot of hatred towards uh, Pandavas. But one thing to know is that whenever Duryodhana meets Yudhishthir, the eldest son of Kunti, you'll say respected brother, Shrestha Bhrataha, respected brother. And when Yudhishthir sees Duryodhana, you will say, um, Priya Anuja, my lovable brother, right? It is an etiquette, right? So even though they have a lot of differences, but when they see, they talk respectfully. That is an etiquette in the ancient time. Maybe it's not there anymore in many places, but it is an etiquette. And even Duryodhana, right, did a lot of things, but he had some principles. He had some principles that he has followed. Though he was fully on the Adharma side, he had some things. Like, for example, once he had an argument with the Gandharva when Pandavas were in exile, in the Pandavas, he wants to check how the Pandavas were suffering. And then he went there, and then got into an argument or a conflict with the Gandharva, and he was, on the power of Karna, he said, he was trying to fight with Gandharva, but Gandharva, they have a superpower. They caught him. They were trying to kill him. And then Yudhishthira got to know about that, and then he sent Arjuna, and then Arjuna, fought with the demons, and he has helped Devatas and Gandharvas. So Gandharva, on behalf of Arjuna, left Duryodhana. Otherwise, he was planning to kill Duryodhana. And then Duryodhana said, Arjuna, I will give you a boon. You ask me anything, I will give it to you. And then Arjuna said, I'm not going to ask this now, brother. I will ask you later. So during the intense battle between the two parties, one point in time, Duryodhana invoked anger in Bhishma, and Bhishma got 5 Pandava Astras to kill Pandavas. And then to safeguard those ashtaras, those arrows, Duryodhana kept it secretly in his camp. But Krishna knows everything, right? Krishna is in the heart of everyone. Krishna knows that tomorrow Bhishma is going to use those arrows and kill all the Pandavas. But Krishna wants to protect his devotees. Then he said to Arjuna, Arjuna, please go to Duryodhana and ask these 5 arrows, right? And then Arjuna said, come on, Krishna, how will he give? If these arrows are to kill us, how Duryodhana will give us those arrows? Krishna said, just follow my words. Just see whether he gives or not. I know Duryodhana better than you. Then he went. He went to Duryodhana's camp, and then he knocked, and then Duryodhana opened, and then he said, "Hi Arjuna, how are you? How is everything going?" And he was friendly, and then Arjuna said, reciprocated, and then said, "I know that you have 5 arrows. Can you give that to me?" And Duryodhana immediately went to the inside his camp, inside his hut, and then took all the arrows and then gave it to him. And then at the time, Duryodhana said, Arjuna, you relieved me of a great debt. Every night I could not sleep because I am greatly indebted to you. You saved my life, but I was thinking about it every day. How can I repay it? But you asked me, then I give all these 5 arrows to you. You take it. You relieve me, right? So there is some etiquette, though they are enemies. There is some etiquette between them. Talking of Arjuna, right? Though Duryodhana did a lot of atrocities towards Arjuna and Pandava, there is some little bit of etiquette they followed. So Duryodhana was very happy that he is no more indebted to Arjuna. Talking about indebted, right? I want to say a small story, to reinforce, right, how Krishna reciprocates. It's a real story. It happened in Jagannath Puri. When the Puri was about in the evening, when they are about to close the door, the king, rushed into the temple, and in front of the temple there was a lady selling garlands, and he was about to ask a garland. At the time, there was another. Is called as a chettiar, right? In South, there are chettiars who does business. They are very wealthy people. So the chettiar came, and yeah, he has already reserved that garland for Jagannath. But king also came. There was only one garland. King said, you give me that garland, I am the king. But the chettiar said, I've already reserved that. He was a wealthy person, so he can argue with the king. He said, I have reserved that garland. And the king said, what is the price he's going to give? He said he's going to give 10 coins, 10 coins, some coins. And then the king said, I will give you 100. And the chettiar said, I will give you 1,000. King said, I will give you 10,000. The chettiar said, I will give 25,000. And king said, I will give you 100,000. That other chettiar said, I will give you 150,000. Then it was going on and on. King suddenly said, I will give you my whole kingdom. Give me that garland. And then the chettiar could not say anything. He cannot give anything more than kingdom. So the Puri king took the garland and then offered to Jagannath. And then it is said only in that night he slept very well because he offered the garland to the Lord Jagannath. But while he was sleeping in the night, Lord Jagannath appeared, right? Is Krishna, Jagannath Baladev Supra, Jagannath Baladev Subhadra. So Lord Jagannath appeared. He said, hey king, you did a great job, but please relieve me from this weight. I'm so much indebted to you. Just for me, you have given up your whole kingdom. And then this king said, Krishna, I know from Bhagavad Gita you say that you hold the whole world and everything. Why can't you bear this weight of the indebt? Right? Krishna said, I hold everything. Everything is all the universe, everything rests on me. But if a devotee does like this for me. I cannot bear that weight. Please take it away from me. Please relieve me. And then Krishna requested, and then Krishna, and then the king finally accepted. Right. So like this, if we do some small things to Krishna to please him, Krishna becomes greatly indebted, and if you become more and more pure, Krishna also wants to reciprocate our love. Okay, I'm a little bit off the topic. Sorry about that. So Arjuna sees his relatives. Um, so far we have studied this. So in the shloka number 20, Arjuna took up his bow and prepared to shoot the arrows. And shlokas from 21 to 23, Arjuna said, "O infallible one, please draw my chariot between the two armies." The Lord then drew the chariot between the two armies at the request of Godakesha. And now Arjuna sees all kinds of relatives. Right? This is just a recap of what we studied, what we have read so far. Okay. Now, this comes the real, very important shloka here. Any volunteers to read after me, recite after me? Okay. If not, Srinidhi, you want to recite this shloka?
Okay. तान् समीक्ष्य स कौन्तेयः सर्वान् बन्धूनवस्थितान् कृपया परयाविष्टो विषीदन्निदमब्रवीत्.
Okay. Anybody wants to read the translation?
I'll read.
Thank you.
When the son of Kunti, Arjuna, saw all these different grades of friends and relatives, he became overwhelmed with the compassion and spoke thus.
Right. So now Krishna has strategically positioned the chariot, as I mentioned, in front of Bhishma and Drona, just to kindle the familial attachment so that Arjuna can become more inquisitive, so that Arjuna can become an ordinary person. Right? So, and then Krishna can deliver the Bhagavad Gita. Arjuna will keep asking questions as an ordinary person on behalf of us. Arjuna is acting on behalf of us. All the questions Arjuna asks in the Bhagavad Gita, Arjuna knows the answers, but he is behaving like an ordinary person on behalf of us and ask the questions that we have in our mind. So here, Arjuna has been put into this position. Arjuna, on seeing all these people, his heart has become very soft. He doesn't know. He's facing a problem here. How can he kill his friends, relatives, grandfathers, father?
Hey, you want to eat anything? Yes. You have to put it. Yeah. Yeah, I'm ready. Let's have something.
Okay. So here, when Arjuna see all the different grades of relatives and friends, he has become overwhelmed with compassion. Right? His heart has become soft. Right? How can he kill his friends and relatives? Right? Even he's compassionate not only for his army, he's also compassionate for his Kauravas as well. Right? One thing to note here is Sarvan Bandhanam, sister. Yeah, one thing I want to mention. So this compassionate, the Acharyas explain, it is misplaced, this compassion, right? See, here Arjuna is compassionate towards the body, not the soul. The Acharyas explain. For example, when a person is drowning in a river, sometimes it is like worried about the dress he is wearing than the body itself, right? There is a misplaced compassion. The Kshatriyas in general, they are built, they have the spirit of killing or they have the spirit of protecting. Kshatriya Trat refers to injury, and traya means trayate. Delivering from the injury. That means protecting the people from the injury is the duty of the kshatriya. That's why the name kshatriya means those who protect the people from injury of the enemies is called as kshatriya. They are trained to kill people. But here he is acting, in other sense. He does not, yes, develop compassion towards his enemies. That is what here it is mentioned. He has become overwhelmed with compassion. Okay. Now let us go to the next shloka. Here it is said that such compassions or such symptoms in Arjuna were not due to weakness, but is due to soft-heartedness, a characteristic of a pure devotee of the Lord. So a devotee of the Lord, it is said, even Krishna mentions it in the Bhagavad Gita, right? A devotee has 26 good qualities that we will see down the lane. There are 26 good qualities. One of them is soft-heartedness. But here, being the devotee of the Lord, Arjuna is showing the symptom of compassion towards even his enemies. Now let us go to the... So I just put this slide, right? The soldiers versus terrorists. So the soldier, in terms of dealing with, I put this slide, 3 or 4 weeks back. It is not related to anything that has happened recently. So a soldier, will not show compassion towards the terrorist, right? He has to kill the terrorist. He should not show any compassion. There is no place for peace with the terrorist, right? That's the reason. There's a difference between the soldier and the terrorist. But if the same soldier, comes to his hometown, and if he started killing people, then he will be put into jail, right? So one who has the authority to kill, and is a soldier. So that's where the difference between the ahimsa and himsa comes into picture. In our shastras, it says ahimsa paramo dharma. Ahimsa is a very important dharma, right? But it is not for dealing with the terrorists or aggressors, right? Where himsa is as a utility in place. Right. For example, if a surgeon, right, he has to do surgery in the body, he cannot say, I cannot do any himsa on the body, but he has to do it as a matter of duty. Likewise, the soldier or the kshatriyas has to perform that duty in protecting the people. Further, this is a dharma youth. He has to definitely fight for dharma. Right. So there are 4 reasons where Arjuna mentions for not fighting with the Kauravas. We just saw the compassion in the previous 2 shlokas and in the upcoming shlokas as well, few shlokas. Arjuna says, I'm overwhelmed, and he shows a lot of symptoms of overwhelming, of compassion. And then in the upcoming slokas, you will say there is no sense of enjoyment in killing the relatives, because people want, people want to have a lot of money just to show off to the relatives. But if the relatives are all killed, if Arjuna's relatives are all killed, what is the use of getting the whole kingdom? Whom should he show off, right? So that is one of the reason Arjuna is saying that I'm not going to fight. He may be thinking, if he kill all his relatives, and then if you go to the kingdom, if you go to the palace, he will use all the things tainted with blood, right? All the things that Duryodhana has utilized already, they may be tainted with blood. That is one of the statements of Arjuna. And the other thing is, Arjuna is fearful of sin, killing the kith and kin. And the other thing is, Arjuna is saying destruction of family traditions. If the men in the army, if all the men are killed, then their wives are left alone. They may not have any guidance. They may go in a wrong path, and they may beget children in an unwanted way, and those children will not follow any traditions. The whole dynasty will become reckless, Varna Sankraha. So these are the four reasons Arjuna is going to talk in the subsequent shlokas why he should not fight, right? But Krishna will respond each and every reason in the second chapter onwards. Krishna will take up the position of a guru and then start chastising and then start instructing Arjuna on why he should fight. Krishna, cleverly. See, this is a great. Even throughout the first chapter, Krishna just listens to what Arjuna says. Now, that's a great management skill, right? First, listen, and then let him wait it out, and then Krishna will not say anything, and then Arjuna, in the seventh shloka of the second chapter, will surrender to Krishna. Will say that please accept me as your disciple and then teach me. And then the role is changed from a friend to a disciple. So Arjuna will become a disciple and Krishna will become a guru. And then Krishna will address all his concerns one by one. And he will also encourage him by saying that you are a great warrior and everything, motivate him. And finally, he will give a lot of options. And then he will say, you select what you want. And then, so Krishna is like a great teacher, great management guru. If you look at, holistically in this Bhagavad Gita, he will never force anybody. But that is one thing, we all have a free will. And Krishna does not want to, spoil our free will. That is the reason he wants us to do devotional service to him. He wants us to love him, by offerings a little bit or anything. He wants us to chant his name, holy name, everything, but he does not force. It is our free will, right? So finally, he gives, all the things, and then Arjuna will choose the best for him. So these are the reasons why Arjuna does not want to fight, and Krishna addresses all of them in the subsequent shlokas here. So we will go. This is the start of the Bhagavad Gita, right? The conversation just started. Arjuna started. And Arjuna represents our life, right? We undergo a lot of stresses, anxiety and everything. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, it's a dukhalayam, place of miseries, and ashashvatam, it's a temporary place. But Krishna provides all the solutions and how to handle them. So here, Arjuna represents us. He put forward a lot of questions on behalf of us, but if you read them, right, it'll be eye-opening. So let me stop here. Any questions, any comments, any realization? What is your thought on reading these slokas today? In the next 2 weeks, 2 or 3 weeks, we will complete this chapter. This chapter has until 42 slokas. How many slokas? 47 shlokas. In the next 2 or 3 weeks, we will wrap up. Any questions?
I'm good. Thank you.
Thank you. Any realization, any feedback? What do you think of Arjuna's position? Okay. If nothing else, thank you very much for joining. Please join next week as well. We'll continue this journey. And probably during the summertime, once the kids are holiday, vacation, we'll change the timing. I know many people will be busy on Saturday evenings. We'll change the time suitably accordingly. Okay. Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. This FaceTime?
Please, Vipan.